Hey guys, welcome back. I know that it has been a hot minute since I recorded a video. I'm so sorry for that. I'm honestly out of breath, first of all, huge pregnancy symptom that I'm dealing with. But on top of that, I've been so tired, and for so long I just always feel like there's nothing to talk about, and then when I decide to do an update, there's a lot I can update on. So this is my 20-week update. I'll actually be 21 weeks tomorrow, and I'm kind of shocked at how fast this pregnancy went by. I thought it would go by so slow because I found out at 3 weeks, 2 days. Like, I found out mega early, but it is going by pretty fast, and we only have 4 months left until we get to meet our little guy, and I don't know. I feel like it's going by so fast, and it will go by so fast, and he's gonna be here before we know it. So I'm already 5 months pregnant. That is wild to me. Let me tell you guys how my last 2 appointments have went. Actually, I can even update you on my last 3 appointments. So we're gonna go back all the way to 12 weeks. I have my appointments always on like the 4th day of whatever week it is. So like I had my appointment 12 weeks, 4 days, 16 weeks, 4 days, 20 weeks, 4 days. That's how it goes. So I got an ultrasound at 12 weeks, 4 days. So here is what he looked like. So in case you don't know, we are having a boy. And he was facing my back, and he's actually still in that position, and I'll show you guys the next ultrasound. So this was 12 weeks, 4 days, and I was just 3 months pregnant. Actually, let's go do a throwback, and let me show you his 8-week ultrasound and how much he had grew. And this ultrasound got kind of messed up, but how much he grew in just 1 month. It's wild. So that's him at 8 weeks. And that's him at 12 weeks. Oh my gosh. And let me show you guys him at 20 weeks. Can't wait. Here he is at 20 weeks. I'll give you guys a better up close picture in just a minute. So he's growing a ton, which makes me so happy. So 12 weeks, we got that ultrasound. Well, I went by myself, you know, due to all the craziness going on. My husband's not allowed at the appointments, but I went. We had done the sneak peek gender reveal. If you guys saw that video, I'll have it linked below. But I also opted into the genetic testing to triple confirm the gender, as well as like make sure everything looked okay as far as genetics go. So they did confirm he's a boy at that genetic test, and all the blood work came back like he has no risk of anything. And so far from the ultrasounds, he's not showing any risks or like abnormalities, which is awesome. I'm so thankful for that. So at my 16-week appointment, basically that was just pee in a cup, take my weight, my blood pressure, make sure, you know, doctor just sees if everything's going okay. We did listen to his heartbeat. And at that appointment, my blood pressure had went up a little bit. I think at 12 weeks, it was like 125 over like 80 something. I mean, it was pretty normal. It was a little elevated, but I mean, it was in normal range basically. Even at my first appointment, my blood pressure was like 112 over 76. Like my blood pressure wasn't high pre-pregnancy at all. But at my 16-week appointment, my blood pressure went all the way up to 138 over 96, which they were kind of concerned about. So she told me over the next, well, I guess forever, but basically like try to over the next month, like really watch what I was eating, and watch the salt, drink more water, walk, exercise, all that stuff. So I did. Obviously I wasn't perfect, you know, you've got pregnancy cravings, and you know, I'm not a perfect person. So, but I did my best. I feel like I really had cut down on a lot of stuff, and I was doing a lot better. So at my 20-week appointment, my blood pressure was at 137 over 94. So it went down just a little bit, but it was still elevated. So I hate to even talk about this. I didn't even plan on like saying this to, I guess, social media, but I kind of want to have it documented, so I can look back and see how things went and stuff. But because of my blood pressure being where it's at, they wanted to go ahead and start me on blood pressure meds, which I feel kind of weird about. Not really asking for opinions about that. Also, my doctor had me take home this like jug. I don't even know how to describe it. I had to collect my urine for 24 hours and put it in this jug, and I actually just took it to the office today, and they took my blood work because they want to start doing like scans for preeclampsia. I'm not showing any signs for preeclampsia except before high blood pressure, which I didn't even think my blood pressure was like astronomically high where I was at risk for anything. I thought, you know, maybe it's just like being pregnant, you know, and the fact that it didn't even go up from last appointment, actually went down a little bit, obviously not by a ton, but it didn't spike or anything. I thought that was a good sign. I partially believe it has to do with my size, because obviously preeclampsia, hypertension, any gestational diabetes or any of that stuff doesn't discriminate by size. Women of every race, size, everything can get these issues come up. Obviously people from all backgrounds can have these issues come up. I mean, even Kim Kardashian got preeclampsia, so it's like, it doesn't discriminate. But they say being plus size, like you have a potentially higher risk for these things, whatever. So we're gonna see, I don't know when I'll get the test results back for my urine and my blood. I'm not sure if I'll have to call or if they'll call me, or I'll find out at my next appointment. But I'd like to kind of see how that goes. That's what's going on with that. Also at my ultrasound, because of the way the baby was positioned, they could only measure a handful of things. They can measure his spine, they measured his brain. I think they can measure like one of his legs, his abdomen, but there were some things they couldn't measure. They couldn't see like all 4 chambers of his heart. They couldn't see his kidneys. And I don't think they can measure his other leg. His legs were like crossed. Like, it was the cutest little thing ever. I didn't get a picture of it, but it was so adorable. And so because his positioning, like he's head down, which is awesome. I hope he stays that way, which it's still so early. He can obviously like move around and do whatever he wants. But if he stays head down, that would be awesome for like labor purposes, you know? But he's head down and he's facing my back, just like he was in this ultrasound. So that must be like his favorite position, to just like face back here. So because he was facing that way, it was hard for them to measure everything. I'm like pretty positive he's perfectly fine and everything's will measure fine. Just because of his positioning though, I'm having to be referred to a high risk specialist that has like a better ultrasound machine. I don't think they're classifying me as high risk yet, or maybe they are, or maybe they are, I don't know. I feel like what I really hate about majority of doctors, obviously this is not every single doctor, I don't want to like to put every single person in a bubble, but I really hate the lack of transparency I've experienced with doctors my whole life. Like, I've experienced this like every single time, where you kind of have to be obviously the biggest advocate for yourself, which I recommend whether the doctors were transparent or not. Like, you should be your biggest advocate, but when it comes to like medications or I don't know, just kind of anything, I feel like there's just a lack of like explanation or lack of transparency. And I try to be devil's advocate where I'm like, okay, they're busy, they have a lot of patients, but I don't know, I hate how doctor-patient relationships are just not as in depth as they used to be, and they're not as personal, and I really, really despise that. So for instance, when I was dealing with nausea in the beginning of pregnancy, I was prescribed Zofran. Never took it because when I started researching myself, there's a lot of links to cleft lips in babies from moms who took Zofran. They never brought that up. They're not there to tell you all of the the bad things that could go wrong, right? And again, that's why you always need to be your own advocate. I feel like a lot of situations that doctors handle, they try to act as if everyone's in this one bubble and we all take things the same, or we all react the same to stuff. That's obviously not the case. So I don't know. That's just how I feel about things. So as of the 20-week scan, what they can measure him, he is measuring about 13 ounces in the 60th percentile, I believe. And obviously another thing is those measurements are never accurate, honestly. I've had people tell me their doctor said their babies were going to weigh like 10 pounds and their babies came out like 7 pounds. So obviously it's kind of off, but you know, they're saying he's measuring on time, which is great. I'm sure they can tell when they're much smaller, much bigger, in reference to like how far they're behind, if that makes sense. Like, I trust that. So I feel him kick a lot now, which I love. I mean, it's not like all day, but it's very like frequent which makes me feel very secure and makes me happy, because then I know like he's doing good, right? Like even today when I was driving to the doctor's office, I had music blasting in my car and he was just like kicking the whole time. And I honestly love it so much. I know I'm gonna miss it so much when it's gone. I'm gonna miss it so much, but I honestly love the kicks. It is weird. It is a weird feeling for sure. It's like, I don't even know how to describe it. Like if you've never been pregnant, it's so impossible to describe. Like people talk about it being gas bubbles. Like I've never had anything feel like this in my life. Never gas or anything. So it just, honestly, I guess it just feels like someone's punching you from the inside of your stomach. Really, it's so weird. So let me show you guys these pictures kind of up close. Only the first one's really good. The rest of them are kind of blurry. And I know that the ring light's kind of reflecting off of it, so I hope that doesn't bother anybody, but that's his little profile shot. My little pumpkin right there. I think this is another profile shot, and he kind of looks like an alien, which is creepy. I have no idea what that is. I think it's a foot. It doesn't have a label on it, but I do think it's one of his foot. That's his profile as well. Not a good one. And then these two, I think, is the exact same picture, and it's his foot. And you can see, like, you see his little toes. From what I can see, that looks like about 5 toes. It's kind of blurry once you get to, like, the 3rd toe, but I think there's 5. So I also have a posterior placenta, so that explains why I'm able to feel him so early compared to some moms. Like, some moms don't feel their baby till, like, 26 weeks. Some not even till 30 weeks, which blows my mind. But normally in those circumstances, because they have an anterior placenta where the placenta covers the baby, my placenta is behind the baby, so it makes it a lot easier for me to feel him. I actually still haven't gained any weight. Technically, the lowest I got from losing was 309. I'm 312 as of Tuesday, so I'm still at technically a loss from my pre-pregnancy weight, so I technically haven't like gained anything. But I feel huge. I really need maternity clothes, honestly, and I'm only 5 months. I feel so giant, and I don't have like a perfectly rounded belly, but he's obviously already to my belly button. A lot of the organs already be shoved up, so I'm like out of breath all the time, and the top of my stomach feels hard a lot of the times. Okay, so this is what we're looking like. So obviously he's not all the way out here. This is like fat or whatever, but he is all the way up to my belly button. So that is wild that he's already up here in this whole area. This is me like fully relaxed. I feel like I look 9 months pregnant. I mean, I literally feel about 9 months pregnant. I just can't feel the baby, like actually feel him physically. But all of this is like hard. You can tell I can't even like poke into it because everything's just being so pushed up. This is all rock solid. And right here where he is at, like, even though I know some of this is fat, obviously a lot of this is fat. This is starting to get kind of hard. And then down here, we still have that flabby apron stomach, loose skin. The loose skin's not as bad as it was. It is getting a little more rounded out. But I feel giant, you guys. Like, this is me. I can't even suck in. Like, I tried the other day, and this is as most as I can do. Like, this is me trying to suck in. I can't. So yep. And then if I pull my pants up, because I don't like wearing my pants below my stomach, because well, now I don't mind too much because it feels uncomfortable with this up here. That's how I look when I have clothes on. So when I go out, I try to, like, I'm not even gonna lie, I try to just be so relaxed so people can tell I'm pregnant. I'll do this, even though the baby's not up here, and it's so silly, but I will totally like hold my belly and stuff so people can tell I'm pregnant. But it's kind of hard when this kind of like holds it all in. So, but I feel like, I don't know. I mean, so I guess that's pretty much it, guys. I would love to do more updates. I will definitely keep you guys updated with the hypertension stuff and if I pass my glucose test and all that stuff. I would really love to like record and take you guys to my doctor's appointments, but because of everything going on, it's just really weird being in the doctor's offices. Like my husband can't even come to the appointments, which I have a whole opinion about that. But I do have my registry started, and we have been so blessed and have like 13 or 14 things given to us off of our registry, which I'm so grateful for. So if any of you guys feel compelled to bless us or help us out, obviously this is our first child. We have a lot to get. We have a lot to prepare for. If any of you guys feel compelled to bless us, our registry will be linked in the description box, as well as all my other social media if you guys ever want to like follow me on Instagram or anything like that. And that being said, guys, I'm going to end this video. So I hope you all have an awesome day, and thank you so much for supporting me. If you want to stick around, see how this plus size pregnancy continues on, and just want to follow me on this journey, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. We would greatly appreciate it. Me and baby Morris would be so grateful for that. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Love you all so much. See you in my next video. Bye.